What's going on, my high-speed fruit pies? I hope you're all doing well. I've been recovering from a cold and my voice is finally returning, which is honestly bad timing because so many things have been going on this week in the gaming industry and I haven't really been able to keep up with it. We've had the PlayStation presentation, we've had Microsoft buying Bethesda, and what is it, ZeniMax? Yeah. And while all those are hype, there's something else that's been getting my attention, and that's what SEGA and Microsoft are doing. So they're clearly up to something, but we don't know what yet, and we are potentially going to find out in a few hours from now exactly what they are going to be up to. So later today is the SEGA event at Tokyo Game Show, and I am super hyped for this. So there is talk that Microsoft is buying SEGA, which would be a huge game changer for them. And there was a bit of a misconception that they actually aren't buying SEGA because they confirmed that there is no acquisition announcements at Tokyo Game Show. But that doesn't mean that they aren't going to buy them and just announce it at a later date. That said, what I personally think is going to happen is in a few hours, SEGA and Microsoft are going to announce a partnership with the Xbox getting rebranded in Japan under the SEGA name. In Japan. God, I've been spending way too much time in this country. So, something like the Sega X or the Dreamcast 2 or something like a limited edition Sega Xbox system might be a thing. So, why am I thinking this is a possibility? Well, I am sure many of you are in the loop, but both Microsoft and Sega have been dropping hints over the last few days that something is going to be happening. Or they could just be fucking with us. We don't know. But let's look at some of the things that they've been doing, shall we? So, the first one that I wanted to talk about was the unveiling of the new Shock Blue Xbox controller. The first thing that came to my mind was that it looked like Sonic, but I didn't really put much thought into it at the time. However, soon after, I noticed that people managed to get the word Sonic out of the phrase still iconic, to which I thought that was a friggin' massive ass stretch. Like, stretching so far that you would make Elastigirl blush level stretch. And that said, I did think that the still iconic phrase was kind of odd. Now, not much longer after it was revealed, the color of the controller is a perfect match for Sonic. Like the same identical hexadecimal. And the odds of that being just a coincidence is borderline zero. There are tens of thousands of variations of the color blue, yet they managed to pull off the exact same Sonic blue color. That's just unlikely. And the next thing that popped up that I saw was an image that came from the Sega of Japan Twitter. In it, the head of merchandise is blocking the Tokyo Game Show reveal from getting photographed. Now, the Google translation of the tweet is a little bit different from how I read it, so I'm going to give my own translation of the tweet. So, we went to visit the head of merchandise and saw the samples were on the table. So we tried to take a pic when the head said, "No, you can't, not yet, we can't show it yet." And this is followed by the Tokyo Game Show hashtags. And now, the head of merchandise here is in a very strange pose. You can see that her hands are in an X, which is common when they want to say no in Japan. However, no one is going to throw their body on top of merch with their hands in an X shape. That's just not natural. I've seen people at work and in my personal life cover things with their body, and never have they made such a pose. It's just freaking weird. Combined with the fact that there is a box in the image makes it an obvious reference that this is towards the Xbox. Though I am looking more at that Dreamcast and Saturn lanyard at the bottom. So imagine if the Series X got rebranded as the Dreamcast 2, while the Series S became the Saturn 2 in Japan. Now, I know that's a bit of a jump here, but that would be a day one purchase from me without hesitation. Let me know in the comments if you would buy a Sega branded limited edition Xbox. And the last thing that comes to mind was at a recent Microsoft event where the guy hosting was wearing a Sonic shirt. There wasn't really much to be going into here, to be honest. At first, we all thought it was just, hey, he was a Sonic fan, but after recent events, it seems more like this was a hint that something is going to be coming. And now, we are just a few hours away from finding out what exactly Sega and Microsoft have up their sleeve, and I am freaking excited as hell. All I know is that it might be me reading way too much into this, and it turns out it could be something simple like Sega games coming to xCloud or Game Pass, and if that happens, I'm going to be a little bit upset. And those things happening, that wouldn't sway me to get an Xbox personally, as I've never been an Xbox guy. They need something huge if they want to win not just me, but Japan, because Lord knows the Xbox is dead here. I'm talking like Sony, Nintendo, and even PC have multiple aisles for each of them in nearly every electronics store. But as for Xbox, assuming you can even find a store that has the product, you are looking at a tiny shelf that holds like 5 or 6 games per row. It's really freaking pathetic, the situation is for the Xbox here in Japan. So Sega, being the 53rd richest company in Japan, really need to take the wheel and push the Xbox. There really isn't any other option for Japan. The Japanese prefer to buy Japanese brands, which is why Sega, a Nintendo, and Sony, they do so well. But companies like Apple, who are American, have become huge here. Really huge. And if Apple can do it, so can Xbox. But Sega is going to have to step in, because they have a lot of bad history that they have to really, make up for. So, yeah, I guess we'll find out what's happening in just a few hours. For now, though, I'm going to be going back to bed and getting some rest. I go back to work next week, and I need to be at my best. I'm still recovering from my sickness, so, yeah, sorry for the short video. But I hope you did enjoy the video. Leave a like on it on your way out, and I will see you sooner or later. Take care.